Hmm.
Hold on a second. Having a couple technical difficulties. 1 second. With that, welcome to Coffee with the USS Russell camp. And tonight we're joined by Tiffany. Drew will be right back. Sean, that's John's over there. Richard, Jordan below me, unless it's really messed up on your screen. The vampire from England, and then Jeff. All right, so we've got a pretty full house. Victoria,
Cool.
Is that 8s over aces?
That's my daughter.
Hi there.
Those little medals make way more than that. All these gentlemen know her.
Chris.
That's Tiffany.
Hi, Tiffany.
Hi.
She is in Special Olympics. She's going to turn 31 in October.
Ooh.
Remember when you said that you were short and I said, no, you're not, my daughter is? She walks into this range. Literally, she's this high. Yes, Victoria. It's big.
Yeah.
Tiffany knows him too.
Mm-hmm.
She's in love with him.
Might be a restraining order
On her.
Hey, did anybody notice that all of our names disappeared?
Yeah, because the bottom piece is in.
What disappeared?
The name. Hold on. It might be. See if it. Okay, shut the door.
That is the best way to leave.
Hold on. Maybe it's this.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay. So if I put the comments in the chat, our names will disappear, I guess. That's new.
Yeah,
Because we didn't do that before. Okay. So
How's it going, Chris? Welcome to the Crazy Club.
So there's a reason why we got both cameras running right now, and it's kind of different.
New additions.
Drew's been working with Mike to create new items. So we have 2 different Klingon disruptors on the wall, on top of our
Above our MSD.
MSD and the Klingon sniper rifle.
Tiffany got to see him before you did. Are you a tabletop game player, Tiffany?
Yeah, mostly Dungeons and Dragons, but I recently found out that there's a Avatar: The Last Airbender based. Although it doesn't have a lot of, it doesn't seem very combat heavy, which is kind of disappointing. But I wonder if I could tool it to be more combat heavy, or like kind of cross them over.
Okay. Tricorder, right?
Mhm.
Dice
You want
case.
tabletop combat, play Shadow.
Oh, that's cool.
That is pretty awesome.
We're working on selling these because with this one will hold the tokens for Star Trek Adventures, which is basically D&D converted to Star Trek.
You want to grab that?
She saw that.
Oh, she did? Okay.
Went into the dice tower that you signed.
Oh, I didn't know you took it to Neutral's Night. Okay.
I take everything.
So since you brought up that you play D&D, have you seen any of the changes to the new handbook?
No, I haven't played since I haven't played at all. Like I haven't had a chance to sit down and play forever. So the last I've played out of was the 5th edition or 5.0.
That's a dice tower.
Huh?
This is a dice tower.
Oh yeah. That's cool. What? Oh yeah.
Yeah, put it in the top.
But I haven't. Yeah, I haven't seen any. I've heard my brother, because my brother's a DM, and he's been trying to get games together forever, but it's kind of hard to schedule when we've got so many different schedules going on and like disparate lives. It's kind of hard to.
So
Yeah,
like that's a D&D meme.
Yeah,
Saturday
seems
nights.
like it's like easier to do like one shots or stuff like that. You can't do long-term campaigns, which is kind of sad.
The problem that I had was the main DM for our group decided to move to Ohio.
Oh,
So our group
could
kind of
play-
fell apart.
yeah, you could play through Discord.
You can
Or
play
other-
through Roll20, Discord. You can play through this too. But they're changing the way Smite works. Also, Hunter's Mark got changed a little bit. That instead of you having one weapons mastery as a fighter or ranger or paladin,
Mhm.
it depends on what weapon you're using, if I'm not mistaken. And there's a lot of different changes. Like as a cleric, you don't get your domain until level 3 now.
Oh,
So everybody gets their domain at the same level at level 3. And races changed as well. By the way, gaming is part of our show, but the races changed. So instead of humans getting 1 to everything,
Mhm.
you get a race-based feat that you choose, and it gives you different things that way. So it's interesting, and some classes like Rangers are a little bit better off than they were at the beginning of 5.0. They've included a lot of the Tasha's changes that are really good. Like the alternative stuff, they actually include in a lot of the classes now. So I'm interested in seeing it happen. Right now, I can't afford to buy that book. It's like $60.
Yeah.
But when it comes out, it's going to be interesting. but I've been watching a couple of YouTube things to see the changes, and it's going to be interesting when it happens, whether the DMs locally decide to stick with the old rules or include the new rules. So
Yeah.
some of the stuff didn't change, some of the stuff did. So
I don't like I think they should have just gone to 6th rather than trying to play this game of, oh, this is 5th. But I think they're changing enough that it effectively will be a new edition. I'm probably not going to it anytime soon because the campaign I'm currently running isn't in any way, shape, or form ready to change gears. I mean, they're only level 4. So realistically, there's no point in me trying to change the rule set until that campaign is over. So, I don't know. I've seen some of it, and none of it super excites me. But I don't play Rangers, so actually, I'm DMing, and I haven't played a character in 5th in 2 or 3 years now. So.
one thing that's interesting is the paladin can dual wield.
You mean like do they get a fighting style or fighting style equivalent now?
Paladins get fighting styles. Any of the classes that got fighting styles, they change it to weapons masteries, I think it's called. So it changes a little bit different. And like, depending on what weapons masteries you have, they have different effects. Like one of them is if you hit with a certain type of weapon, you get an extra attack on your bonus. They move the offhand attack to a regular attack. So if you're dual wielding in your action, you get to hit with this hand and this hand. Where in the rules right now, if your main hand hits, you can only do the offhand if you use your bonus action.
Yeah, which is, I mean, 6 of one, half dozen of another, in some regards, but yeah, okay.
Right.
I mean, yes, you're not forfeiting your bonus action.
So it'll be interesting when it comes out, and like you said, truthfully, they should have renamed it, because if they're changing the player handbook to a new player handbook, it's a new edition. Because enough of it is changing that it basically is a new edition.
Yeah, I mean, this was not quite the same discussion during 3.5, but there was a quasi-similar discussion when it came to what some people call 2.5 when they went and did spells and powers and skills and thing, like when they did the diversification and added the point buy into 2nd edition, where they were like,
right,
that should have been
4 was kind of a 0.5 too.
Yeah.
Where
4 was complete something else.
I think it's interesting that you guys are talking about
Was not
two-handed strikes, and you're not saying that they can be equal in weight, because I graduated from D&D to the SCA, and Florentine, which is two-handed striking, is very intense with both hands.
right.
well. That
Also a nested person.
Well, the basic.
No, I haven't actually done it.
The basic thing is you can only use the finesse weapons, which are normally the lighter weapons, unless you get. I don't know if the feat stays in the new edition.
You can't use a longsword
until you have to have a certain feat to be able to use the long swords.
We were using long swords in the SCA. Everybody.
Okay, but Jordan, like the difference between D&D and any other RPG as a simulation, and what you can pull off in real life with appropriate amounts of training, will always be different things, because in real life, game balance isn't an issue.
No.
Whereas in all tabletop games, that is always a governing factor when you're trying to balance various abilities.
And I left D&D when it was still in 1.0.
Yeah, well, okay. So you're old.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to be experienced.
Call a spade.
Okay, experienced.
He's a weekender too old.
I mean, I played first too, but I just probably didn't play first the way you played.
No, because I'm talking first that came in a pamphlet size box. Every set of rules was in it.
Yeah, the white blue box. We know.
Yeah.
I'm versed in my history.
Star Trek Adventures was a 6-page pamphlet, and you got a little pewter ship that was basically the size of a quarter. That was it. You had to draw out all of your rooms. You had to draw them out. It all had to come out of your imagination. Now everything's printed up.
Well, that's the way D&D used to be.
Basically, Jordan played when it was basically the box for Cantic.
This is 83.
He played it when I did.
Yeah.
When you actually had to use your brain.
I don't know. We used our brain pretty good to destroy a new DM's world in 3 sessions and get us to 20 in that time.
No plan survives for contact with the player character.
Chain line.
Yeah, the DM that moved to Ohio was 18 when he started with us, and it was his first time DMing outside of his family, and he was doing kind of a steampunky type world, and we kind of leveled way too quickly because we used what was that? One of the things where you have the portable spot where nothing can get in, but you're protected. And we were able to make missiles because it was steampunk. The artificer had a mech suit, and I had the ability to make missiles, and he didn't limit my amount of making.
Sounds like Starfleet Strike.
And we basically launched missiles at what was coming out of Hull all night long. And when he went, oh crap, you are like 10 levels higher. And we went, after that game finished, he went, I'm never doing that again. We're going different rules. That was also the game we weaponized.
I remember right. That was
heck of many things.
I remember just yesterday, 1973, when Star Trek The Adventure went. People were waiting for letters to see who's doing what. That's because a phone call, if you lived in the wrong part of town, you call across the street, it was 29 cents a minute. Your parents were big.
I wasn't that old, but I was old enough to remember dialing into people's houses to get on bulletin board systems to play text-based games.
There was, before they started for everybody else, law enforcement and the military got bulletin board from and from AOL.
I'm going to bet dollars that Tiffany doesn't even know what the dial-up modem sounds like.
I do know what the dial-up modem sounds like, but it was like when I was super young. Because I'm 35 now. I think there was still, I don't know, a prevalent like it. I don't know if it was like waning at the time, but it was still prevalent enough in that's what my family had.
You can still dial up somebody's fax machine, and they
Yeah,
will still use the same dial tone as those old modems.
yeah.
Yeah, but Tiffany wasn't using an 800 baud modem.
Probably not. I don't even know what I don't even I can't even remember that far back, so I don't know what we were using. I just know that I know what the dial-up sounds like.
That's like a 25.
Well, you had to have a landline to make it work.
Yeah.
My second tech job was working at America Online, supporting their brand new DSL system, which happened to be the cable was backboned off of Roadrunner or Spectrum now. Wait a minute, is it still Spectrum?
Spectrum's out there, yeah.
Okay. So I had cable because I moved to St. Petersburg, and it was one of the few places in Florida that had cable. And after my divorce, I moved home. We didn't have cable there. And then they added the cable in. So I remember when dial-up was all I had. And I was supporting stuff that wasn't available in my area at my job. So the technology we have now far exceeds what I had in high school. Oh,
It's accelerated.
this was before Star Trek Adventures.
Wait, which one is that?
Star Trek. It was the predecessor.
Which one?
Adventures.
There've been 5.
This was the parent of Star Trek Adventures.
Because so that's the Decipher one?
Yeah.
Okay. Because before that there was Last Unicorn, and there's something in between Last Unicorn and FASA. I just can't remember what it is right now. But I probably have PDFs somewhere.
But
I don't even know if the first 61 pages of rules and skills ever made it to PDF because these kids just scribbled them out and started the Star Trek Pro Players Association. That was back in really early 70s.
I was kind of expecting Mark to show up. Wait, where'd Jordan go? Dang.
I mean,
His system.
true. We are aware that, you fought for the Roman Empire.
I did not.
He didn't fight for the Roman
Syrian Empire.
Oh, sorry, only the Revolutionary War. Right.
He rolled away the stone on Jesus' tomb.
No, I didn't do that.
Sounds like work.
That was.
I thought you were an Alexander at Mesopotamia.
I can honestly tell you that regardless of what all the books say, Abraham was a bit of a butthead, and he still owes me $50. I will get it back. Probably worth a lot more than that now.
So we had a chance to represent our new charity. Our new charity is humanities101.org. It's a autism awareness foundation It specializes in teaching micro accommodation. Pop this one open. Let's start with this one.
This is the chapter's communication officer.
If you're in the area, need anything printed, is the ultimate place, because this woman believes in giving back to charity just as much as us. And Stacy's is now 7 years old, and she had her 7-year anniversary, and we've been going for 3.5 years of that. No,
I've been going to
you've
her
been
for
going
5.5.
to her, but I'm saying as a chapter. I didn't expect her to print these for free.
She did.
She printed 4 of the communication tools and 5 of the posters. So when we were able to we showed her the pictures of who we gave them the communication tools to, and said, hey, part of the nice thing about this is because you have the little Stacy's printing on it, it is advertising for you every time they pull it out and use it. And she was like, that's cool. How many more you need?
Well, at first she printed the set and she goes, here you go. And I said, no, this isn't right. It needs to be this. But she told me she refused to charge.
So, like I said, sometimes we pay for things, but for stuff like this, Stacy has donated a ton for us.
At least $3,000.
Yeah,
Heather and I worked it out 3 weeks ago.
So I expected to buy one of these each and pay for it myself. And I was expecting $20 to $30 minimum for the 2 of them. So the fact that we were not only able to take this and add this to our booth permanently, we were also able to give away 3 of the communication tools to other people, one of which I'm kind of...
Don't forget the stack of stickers.
Well, I was going to say the communication tool also comes in a sticker size, which was sent to us from Shay, the COO of Humanities 101, because I sent her a message that I was going to be giving away earplugs as a micro accommodation for people that had sensory issues at this con, and I also wanted the poster so I could actually print it out. So she was already sending me the poster. They sent us cards. They sent us fidgets, toys. They sent us a lot of stuff. Earplugs with Humanities 101 tag, and a smaller version of that communication. I'm doing this because I can't see. Let's get Jordan back up. So basically, that communication tool allows people with nonverbal communication that can hear the ability to answer basic questions. Are you hungry? Do you need to use the bathroom? Are you feeling all right? Do you need a place to stay? You can ask them stuff and use that communication tool to communicate with them a lot more effectively. And people don't realize how many people don't have that verbal communication because of their neurodivergency. Because some of the people will work normal jobs where they're data entry or something like that, but they don't talk. They can do everything else. They just don't have the ability to talk to you out loud. ASL is one way that it works out. one of the things that I did ask was I asked Vic, which is a friend of ours, hey, can you take a picture of this so I can send it to Humanities? Because you are a bigger star and it will be a nice thing to have you on the site holding one of their communication tools. So Vic, no, and I know that at cons they charge for pictures and stuff. He didn't charge for it. He held it up, was happy to do it. When I told him what it was for, he was excited. We also had the makeup artist. When I started talking to him as we were helping him set up, come to find out his son was autistic. So I gave him one of the communication tool posters so that he could get to other cons, because he's going to meet people that are nonverbal. And that will allow him one more tool. I gave his son and his daughter a couple different items. His son, who is autistic, I gave him I gave both of them, I believe, the zipper bracelet, which is a fidget where they can just zip back and forth. I don't have one with me. It's at my house. Zip back and forth just to keep them busy. What a lot of people don't realize is a lot of us fidgeted in school, and I don't have a pen on me, but we sat there and pissed off the teachers by doing this the whole time with the pens.
And we also used to rotate.
So people of my age and higher in here, we were not diagnosed with neurodivergency. We were bored, was what they said.
Or lazy.
Or lazy. I didn't realize till now, until this year, talking to Dr. Dutch, who found out when he took his daughter to get tested that he was neurodivergent. And then talking to him and things that I dealt with in my life, as I started talking to him, I realized I was on the spectrum because certain things didn't add up. And if we had what we had now, I might actually be farther along in my education. Because I would have been good. Hold on, I don't need to pull it out. I have. Unfortunately, in elementary school, I'm dyslexic, and it took video games for me to correct my dyslexia and be able to read faster. EverQuest. As the EverQuest, we didn't have verbal communication. We were completely under typing. So you would have a 70-person raid times 2, where you had to type out all the instructions in the chat. And if you couldn't read those instructions as fast as they were going, there was no way that you could be part of that group. That scrolling writing actually retrained me enough that at 27, I was actually able to read books for pleasure. That was the first time I read books for pleasure. I read books before because the teacher said, you had to read this, and it would take me 4 times as long as anybody else to read it. So the technology that we have today allows us to be able to... Huh? Books what? I didn't hear you, John. Sorry.
Oh, I just said, I always hated the books they made me read. I wanted to read other stuff.
So, outside of comic books, I did read comic books when I was younger, but I didn't read fantasy books that were, I'll tell you what, reading Tolkien and reading the D&D series. There's two different ones. My brain is not working right now.
You need more description because there's way more than two different ones.
The two brothers. One was a wizard. One was a
that's Dragonlance.
Dragonlance. Thank you. Reading Dragonlance and the other version, there was two different sets that were D&D related. Dragonlance and Forgotten Realms. Yep.
Well, they were only D&D related because D&D is based on Tolkien.
Right. But what I'm saying is the Forgotten Realms and Dragonlance at the time, one was, I believe, 3.5 and one was 4.0. Or was it 2.5 and 3.5? They were.
That depends what you're reading.
Yeah. So at 27, I started reading a book every 4 days. And for me, reading one of those 400-page books, and I was doing it because I was working overnight at drug rehab, I was amazed that I could get done with one book. In a year, I had done over 27 novels. And that wasn't possible for me because of my schooling. Because they didn't look for dyslexia. In fourth grade, I was tested out at that time with 115 IQ. I was a little bit under the genius level with special classes. And they just said, "Oh, you're just bored. That's all it is." Now, mind you, I couldn't concentrate. I listened to the conversations of the outside the portables more than what was right in front of me. But when it came time for tests, I aced the test. Never did want to do homework. But like I said, having neurodivergency and not knowing it all these years, and then when you look at history and look at the descriptions of inventors, of how they acted, 90% of the inventors, everything we've ever used, were neurodivergent in some way. We wouldn't have phones. We wouldn't have lights. We wouldn't have power generation. Tesla was definitely neurodivergent. Without neurodivergency, there would be no way to go, hey, I'm going to make a teleporter. In 1850, was it, that the Tesla coil was made? This man was a genius, well above his, way out there. And everybody's like, "Oh, Edison made electricity." No, the hell he didn't. That man was Tesla. Tesla made both generators, the DC and the AC generator. And Edison at the time said, "Oh, DC will kill you." No.
And then he would dogs on the
I thought, no, it was DC because Tesla's was DC. And Tesla went and
batteries are DC. And active current is flowing freely through the wires.
But Tesla grabbed a light and grabbed the generator that was DC to show that
The Tesla coil.
yeah. He did that at the World's Fair. So
If Tesla grabbed him, he couldn't let go.
that's the difference between the AC and the DC. The AC will knock you.
Remember, DC will freeze you.
But like I said, a lot of people don't realize how
Not
much.
again.
You're still here.
Still here to us.
Maybe not.
Oh, there he goes.
But
We can see his fan, so it can't be.
yeah, I'm seeing the fan.
Jordan's here.
He's moving.
Maybe he can't see us.
Can you hear us,
Oh,
Storm?
that's a possible. That's a very unusual thing, but yeah.
Can you see what I
Yeah,
see?
we can still see him.
Yeah, and he's still moving.
His,
Yep.
his connection is.
You would think it would be better because he's in a big city.
You think?
Connected to a big city. Claremont, where he is, it's connected to Claremont, which is connected to Orlando directly.
Because it's a big city, it's because it's housing.
Oh, the housing area. Okay.
In Deadland.
I
So,
live in a big city.
Uh-huh.
No comment. But, and away he goes. So, like I said, I got to talk to almost 30 parents with autistic kids at the con. I got to give away, and the stickers, the non-communication stickers, we gave to teachers and nurses were our main focus for those.
And the teachers were asking, can we copy these? Yes.
So we gave those away too. We still got about half of what was sent to us, I think, overall. But we were, like I said, the fact that we got to talk to over 30 people and plus the teachers at our booth, which, like I said, this 30 people were within like less than 2 hours of the time, because the rest of the time we were roaming all over the place. But it was nice for the first time out to be able to give back. And one of the things that I did was the young kids that had autism, I looked at them and I said, this is not a bad thing. And I explained about the inventor. I said, hey, you are no worse than anybody else, and probably you're going to be a very brilliant person in whatever field you decide to. It was nice to be able to let those kids know that there's nothing.
Okay,
So-
if you guys can still hear me, I'm going to have to sign off for tonight because my computer is acting up and I've had to restart my computer 3 times already in this broadcast.
Okay, Jordan.
I'm going to have to get back with Best Buy and they're going to have to come out and fix it again. So, good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
So I just wanted to do a little bit of a, like I said,
All right. Good night.
after action on that, because now anytime our CAG group or our SPI group goes to an event and has a table, we will be representing Humanities 101. We will be teaching people about, hey, an easy thing if you've got a loud business is to offer free earplugs at the door. That way you will have more customers come in. Walmart, now every day at every Walmart, 8 to 5, has a sensory hour, shopping time, where they dim the lights and they also turn the radio off of their PA system. That way people can come in and actually shop without having that constant attack on their senses. If Walmart can do it, anybody can do it. And when we talk about micro accommodations, this is going to cost typically a business less than $200 a year. For $200 a year, you will increase your profitability by 50 times that if people in the neurodivergent community find out that you're actually trying to accommodate it, because they will tell their friends with the same issues, hey, go shop here. So that's the whole goal of Humanities 101. They will be having some support groups for families. They're also going to, they give, Dr. Dutch is a Humanities 101 teacher, and a lot of his classes are actually on this subject. And he broadcasts them online for free. So if you don't want credit, you just want to take the class, he's got a YouTube page and TikTok. And every time he does one of his classes, he broadcasts it live. So you're able to take those classes and get the knowledge without
Spending money.
Another thing that he did this week was a school board asked them to come and open up their school, the one school. He actually came, left his university. He was supposed to work. Instead, he went and opened up that school's year, talking about micro accommodations and autism. So he's talked to police stations, he's gone to different police units and talked about this, because unfortunately, we want to say, hey, the cops are perfect. No, they don't always have this training. And when a person that you pull over to give a ticket to gets pulled over, sometimes they get so stimulated that people think of it as they're angry or they're aggressive. And really, if you step back and go, hey, I'm going to ask you a question. Are you by any chance neurodivergent? Because you're acting a little bit aggressive, and I need to know what the situation is. Just taking the time to communicate with the person will solve a lot of the problems that we see on YouTube with bad decisions. I'm just going to say it's bad decisions. I'm not going to say it's a hate thing, nothing like that. Bad decisions of that person that's stimming, the cop throws them down or unalives them. Unfortunately, these trainings that Dutch is starting to go around and doing are needed. And it's great for the corporate world. It's even better for the public servants that don't have the training. Yeah. Right. And we have locally a group of autism awareness groups. As a matter of fact, there is a Camaro, I believe it is, that at 7 o'clock in the morning when I'm leaving work, drives 27, takes a left. They were at Syfy Barta across from us 3 years ago. That group of kids ones, the Camaro that was there, that was it. So, like I said, it's getting better, but we still have people that look at a person with nonverbal communication skills that gets excited and makes fun of them. It happened on national TV. So, unfortunately, we're fighting this, and it will be a long fight. But since we believe in working and volunteering and charity, our group will be doing this wherever we can.
We also believe in inclusion.
Yeah. So now that that's over, Anybody going to a con this next week or two?
No, not that soon.
Actually might go to the Starbase Indy in November, but I'm definitely going to. I'm not going to a convention, but Misha Collins, who this isn't sci-fi related, he plays Castiel in a show called Supernatural, and he's a funny guy. He's coming to Indianapolis for his event, and I hear it's kind of funny, so I'm gonna go see him tomorrow night.
Oh, he had a good character. I liked it.
Yeah,
I mean,
Castiel was.
Tiffany, it's low fantasy, so it's still
Yeah.
right. It's still
Yeah,
X-Files ish or in that genre of stuff. So that still fits.
yeah, it counts. I was recently going back through X-Files and saw a bunch of actors that showed up in Supernatural. Um,
Yeah. Just
I was a little
you.
surprised. But yeah, I think that was the first thing I grew up on. I was like,
Mulder were the only two that didn't show up.
I'm trying to think. I had to have been like 6 at the time when I first started watching X-Files. I remember the first episode I remember the first episode I watched. It gave me nightmares, and it was, I think it's called Darkness Falls. It's where all those little green bugs at night swarm and like cocoon the people and like leach out their fluids and essentially mummify them. And the thing is that like your eyes like to play tricks on you at night, and that little fuzz, because my eyesight used to be pretty bad. I got corrective surgery, but I had that fuzz, and if I was like being overly imaginative as a child, I could see what looked like that effect that they used. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna die. I was only like 6 at the time, but yeah, that was my first sci-fi show, and I was obsessed from the very beginning. So it's good to go back and watch a childhood show, even though I probably shouldn't have been watching that.
Nope, no, you probably shouldn't have been watching that. I think it was
Another.
when they
We
started
know
reading
for a fact that you shouldn't, because your daughter at 31 can't watch it.
Yeah.
Because cute guys. Hello.
Yeah. David Duchovny before the drugs got to him. I'm kidding. No.
Cute
I was
guys.
gonna say also, as far as stuff I shouldn't have been watching as a kid, I think I was like 9 when I started watching Tales from the Crypt. Although we didn't have the HBO version, it was on like Fox late at night programming, so it was sanitized for Fox. So I got the entire collection, and I was like, I don't remember this many boobs in Tales from the Crypt, but yeah.
Didn't Tales from the Crypt play on Saturday morning?
Yeah, my mother used to have
The
me
answer
watching.
is yes, but that was animated.
Yes, she's not talking about the animated.
Yeah, she's
No.
not.
No, there was a syndicated version of Tales of the Crypt.
Yeah.
Right.
With the crypt.
Yeah.
Also had what was that show called? Don't try and adjust your screen.
The Outer Limits.
We have the middle of
The Outer
the
Limits.
I think it was the Outer Limits, wasn't it?
That was the Outer Limits.
okay.
We also had the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, it's
There's 2 versions of that.
I still watch that a lot because there's like marathons that'll happen or used to happen. I don't know. I still kind of make it a point to watch a marathon of it through a streaming service on 4th of July and New Year's Eve. So they
My
used to run
favorite
marathons of
is
those.
the Blue Men, because that explains so much. The guys in blue, it's like every second they have to reset the world around everybody. And sometimes it's like, okay, we forgot to put the control for the light here on the table where he had it. So we got to wait, and a second or two later, they'll put it there. And you'll find it where it was supposed to be, and you'll be like, but it wasn't there a minute ago because my hand was. It's because they put it back.
But we also had Saturday morning preacher teacher host.
Yes, but we had Friday night.
Here we had Dr. Paul Bearer.
Yep. Yeah. I'm not going to mention that.
We used to have Friday night creature feature on after Star Trek.
Yep.
They had an hour of Star Trek, and then they have the creature feature movie.
It got moved to the afternoons on Saturday after cartoons.
Everybody, what really funny is, most people don't realize is what we call, was it soft porn? Europe has been very progressive.
Cinemax?
Very, very progressive in France, Germany, and wow. My dad getting stationed there, and you turn on the TV, you just want to watch something.
Well, think about this. The first season of Stargate was basically soft porn.
Right.
Because it was on Cinemax. Wasn't it? Yeah.
That would explain why. That would explain that pilot episode a lot.
Now you understand?
Yeah, because I was like, I don't know how you got away with full frontal nudity on U.S. television.
It was Cinemax.
Okay. I did not realize that because I was not a big Stargate.
And then
fan,
after
but I've seen
after the first season, I believe it was called something else, but now it's Syfy. The Syfy network bought or took over the rest of it.
Split. Sci-Fi Channel came out of it.
But like I said, and now once they got through the 10 years of it, they actually redid that pilot, so there's a version of it that doesn't have the boobies.
Oh, I obviously watched the one with the.
Yeah,
I watched the cut one, obviously.
There was 2 of those scenes, if I'm not mistaken, because it was the Daniel's wife and then the military woman.
Yes, but Daniel's wife.
I can't remember. I mean, I haven't seen it in ages. I've only seen it once, so I don't remember which one I watched. I just remember watching the first episode.
I liked having the DVDs because you got to hear the commentary. You could play the commentary, and I found out Richard Dean Anderson was making Simpson jokes throughout the whole series. One of them, they were mind wiped, and they were basically slave labor at a frozen planet. And Carter and him are sitting down, and he goes, "I remember somebody, that man. He's important to me. I think his name is Homer." And I thought that was General Hammond's name, first name. And then when I watched that, I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense. And then you start watching, and when you know that, you start picking up whenever he's talking about The Simpsons. Or in Stargate, where they were in the Antarctic gate. She goes, in one of the cutscenes,
I'm stuck in an ice cave and I've got my diver and he can't do anything.
She goes, "Can't you do something? I'll give you a paper clip and something else."
And a chocolate bar.
Can't you get us out of that? It's just the one thing that now the streaming services don't have is those things on the DVDs. Unfortunately, this generation will never know about those because they don't have them anywhere anymore, unless somebody does a podcast.
Yeah, and then they used to do,
or look it up on the internet.
It was great for punchlines from Star Trek.
Yeah, but that was one of the shows that I really loved coming out of high school and that starting. So when I was in high school was when Stargate happened. She would have been in elementary school.
Probably.
She's 10 years younger than me. Although I thought he was only 25, so
Well, I mean, I sit there and somewhat doubt the claim of 35 by Tiffany. That seems very old for what she looks like.
Sorry. Hold on a second. I was trying to think of what I could do. I could flash my ID, but we're on live, so.
no, don't do that. Nope.
What was something I could prove?
I am not trying to gatekeep you here. I'm trying to give you a compliment. Remember, play the game how it's meant to be played.
Yes. I was like, what can I say?
Well,
what can I say that I know of? Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I try.
Understand the game that is being played here.
Yes. There's a lot of effort that goes into that, not looking my age.
Which is fair. I just I want to be very clear in this day and age here. I'm not trying to gatekeep you and like, oh, you have to prove. No, that's not what I mean.
No. That's hilarious that my mind immediately jumped to that. I'm like, what can I say that'll prove that I'm my age? Probably what I got into, like when I was like 8 or 9. I can't remember. That's when Pokemon was blowing up in my town.
Yeah, I would appreciate it, and probably several of the other men on this thing would appreciate it if you didn't reference thing as being like when you were 9 and 10 and we were full blown adults. Came out.
I think the first card game that I played competitively was Yu-Gi-Oh, and that came out when I was
I was
7th grade.
22.
I was 7th grade, a 7th grader. 12, 12, something like that. 11 or 12. I can't remember exactly.
Because Magic came out when I was 18. Like Magic.
I don't know when Magic came out.
Came out.
I played the 2nd edition of Magic.
I played Magic briefly, and it wasn't even close to the 2nd edition. I'm not even sure which one. Maybe it was
I have been in and out of Magic 4 times. Yeah. 30-ish years that it existed.
It's
hey, Brody, you may want to get your shoes and socks on. It's coming up after 9. Your mom should be calling anytime.
Okay. The first time I met Tiffany was in the studio. She was taking pictures with Skip. We need this.
Why is that?
This is where we're going.
They all got dirty.
Several pictures, and as I was walking out, she's young, real young. And she said her age. And I was thinking, ain't no way in God's green earth that child is that old.
The pic of Austin and her, I thought they were the same age.
Yeah.
And Austin's like 21. Because he's like a baby. He's a baby.
He totally is.
He's
he's named after Stone Cold, so and does a very good impression of Hollywood Blonde's version of Stone Cold, which was like his gimmick.
That's amazing. I used to WWF eventually renamed WWE. Yes, I have two younger brothers, and they teamed up against me oftentimes to take over the TV. So we watched a lot of wrestling. So the WCW, wait, is that right? I was more of a WWF/WWE fan.
Because you have taste.
Yeah. And yeah, was coming in right as the, I guess that's what it's called, the Attitude Era, where Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock. Although my favorite wrestlers were like the Mick Foleys, the Edge and Christian, Hardy brothers, Dudleys, because I love the TLC.
Undertaker.
Because those were, the Undertaker was great, but I love the TLC matches because they were insane and exciting. And
yeah, well, I cannot.
Richard, she proved her age.
Yes, it did.
Oh, it did.
WWE was not WWE.
Yeah, it was WWF. Yeah.
No,
Didn't the World Wildlife Fund take that? I can't remember which one.
Change it was World Wildlife Foundation magazine.
Which
really
is stupid because no one would confuse the two. That makes zero sense.
Okay. Originally they had an agreement, and then WWF violated the agreement, and then they had to change because basically it's like, hi, this legal document you signed,
Okay.
you violated. You
I know, I'm turning it down.
Now you see, I remember when Vince McMahon
Sorry.
decided, okay, complaining about their wives watching soap operas, I'm going to give them a soap opera. They will become a Disney show. That was his business plan. WWF.
100%. I agree. There's a lot of female fans for that reason. It's a bunch of partially dressed men, really good looking men, and really bad acting, and then
really
fighting.
good acting. It kind of depends.
It does depend. I just remember some really cheesy acting.
Hey, Nick wrote multiple kids' books.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the man had 3 personalities.
Oh yeah.
Mankind.
I thought he had like
was
rude love.
Yeah. I thought he had,
wasn't
he? Didn't he go off? Oh yeah, I guess it's just 3 personalities. He had 4 characters though. Because he went as Mick Foley for a while, didn't he? Or is that a fever dream?
There's a point where he was Mick Foley, but that was when he did the stint as the commissioner.
Okay.
Which was sort of like a blending of natural personality and character.
Yeah. And
but it was coherent, right?
Yeah,
so
Cactus
Mankind, right?
Mankind was my favorite character. Cactus Jack was great. Dude Love was pretty awesome, but I felt like Mankind was my favorite.
I can't do it any kind of justice, but have a nice day.
I knew Randy Rowdy Piper and Stephanie McMahon. And Brenda was training to become a wrestler, and Stephanie came in and she was going to watch all the ones training seniors to see if they could track any of them. And I had to take this guy that swore everything on it was real down there. And Stephanie told him, oh, yeah, it's just a soap opera for men. None of it's real. And he was like, I know you're lying. They're setting you up to this. And stormed out of the arena. She said, I think we should make sure he never sees an episode again. So
yeah, I don't remember when I figured out wrestling was fake. It was probably about 2000. But it was before the real big breaks. It was before the really big breaks where it was where they'd had, like, it's completely different now because of the fact that, like, you know, every second podcast is a cheap podcast, right? So,
well, I'm not going to say I remember wrestlers differently, but I remember the wrestler named Shazam. I remember Little Bear. I remember what was the name? Something Joe. He always had gold and silver all over him.
I don't like you understand that, Drew. You came from the old style of wrestling where everything was in territory still, right?
Andre the Giant.
Well, yeah, but like the thing was that there were a handful of people that would go from territory to territory. Right. Andre is a great example of that. Yep. Where they would come and do a special attraction or something in the regular thing, but like there were people that were known. But a lot of wrestling was like you worked in a territory. And in that territory is where you were known.
Right? I know how I figured out.
And that's
Kentucky, from Kentucky down to Florida. That was his zone.
Yeah.
And he ended up retiring from a fight in Los Angeles where his opponent ripped his eye out. In anger.
Wow. I mean, Vader almost lost his eye in Japan.
Yeah.
One time. But like, yeah, like my biggest problem is territory. I'm not going to know a lot. I'm only going to know 2 places realistically. I'm going to know Northwestern Canada, which was Stampede, which was Stu Hart's territory.
Right.
And I know a lot of history about WWF, which was Vince's father's territory, which was the Northeast. And the reason I know that is because obviously that has a lineage into the, like most of the titles come out of that territory. That
Little
formed
Bear
of the
part
current.
of Canada all over. He fought all through Canada.
So here's where I figured out that wrestling was fake. The Princess Bride. When I saw Andre the Giant in The Princess Bride, and went, "Oh, he's in that."
Why would that? Why is that a giveaway?
It was enough that I went, "Oh, he's playing a part in both different things," because he kind of acted the same, and he did kind of a wrestling move in that movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was billed the same, so like, I'm not sure I would have made the same conclusion. But I
I was
also
told by one of my classmates.
Are you alive, Mark?
Yes, I am.
Welcome to Nostalgia Talk.
Yeah.
Mark Sullivan, Ambassador at Large, depending on assault group.
And deputy commander of CAG in Phoenix, Rising Phoenix Squadron. In other words, I fill in for John when he's not here.
Which John? Because there's at
John-
least 2
John,
here right
John
now.
Shelburne.
Dropping
Yeah,
out.
I know. But, that's what I wanted to be clear about because I'm not
Yeah.
sure if he knows all 3 Johns. Or wait, is there 4? Wait, is there 4?
Oh yeah.
All the Johns.
Technically,
Oh, yeah.
I could consider it John because Sean translates directly to John. So
Yeah. That's
Or-
hilarious.
Yeah, we can say Jorn.
John is the most
I mean, the only thing we haven't nostalgiaed on yet is like Saturday morning cartoons. So
but we did
That's
Saturday afternoon creature features. So
yeah, that's Mark Lee's territory.
well, that's also a little more regional, right? Because that's a local channels
Hmm.
kind of thing, right?
well,
papers I have of my mom.
And also your generation as well.
I watched Spider-Man cartoons on Sunday. I watched it on a local Vancouver channel.
There was Spider-Man, X-Men. There's a at least one Batman cartoon that I remember watching. The most memorable one is Batman Beyond, and then X-Men Evolution. But that was when I was a little older. For out.
Yeah, but I'm talking about.
Batman and Robin are all the cartoons, and then
There was a Batman cartoon on during the 70s and 80s, and actually had the voices of Adam West and Burt Ward for about a year. So, and it looked like that particular thing, although the Batmobile didn't look anything like the one on TV.
Right.
Yeah. And then we went into the Super Friends era, where they all were together with Aquaman and Wonder Woman and Superman.
Well, yeah, it was basically the Justice League of America.
Right.
Right.
They just didn't call it that, probably for licensing issues.
so X-Men 97 now is a direct continuation of the original X-Men cartoon.
Yep. Hence the 97.
Yeah. I do want to say, Mark, thank you for what you did at the con.
Yes. I finally got the entire story about what happened there, and We could talk after we're on the air.
Yeah. Thank you.
Not on the side.
We have some local things coming up. Fanboy Expo is at the Orange County Convention Center, the September 6th through the 8th. Among the guests is Rebecca. I'll butcher her last name. Romaine. Yeah.
Although it's spelled with a J, yeah, I know.
Yeah. She's had quite a few things to her credit. She was X-Men. She was in the X-Men movies as Mystique. And she also was a Guardian in the Librarian series, if anybody remembers that.
Yep.
Also, the city of Kissimmee is doing their fandom event on Saturday, the 7th of September. And that will be at the Kissimmee Civic Center. And it runs from noon to 5. And I was in touch. The showrunner got in touch with me, and he didn't have a table for us, but we will get VIP bands if we show up, or identification, and that gives us access to the green room and the hospitality area.
Yeah, but that gives us better access when we don't have to.
So that sounds like a pretty good deal. So it's free.
We're doing a event one of the Saturdays in September where we go and last year we built paper airplanes with the kids, I don't know any of the Special Olympics people that are kids. Everyone that's at Saturday Night Live are older than I am, except for her. I'm serious. So we go play. We're going to do what? Foam rockets? You said.
Going to do the rockets, foam airplanes, and other stuff.
There is one thing you don't want to do, especially the Saturday Night Live, is called karaoke. So, Mark, the reason why I wanted to thank you, not the stuff we'll talk about off the air. Thank you for bringing the costume repair station.
Yeah, actually, one of the folks I helped out, their group actually won.
Nice. I also want to thank you for filling in and helping out. That way I could take care of the Humanities 101 stuff a little bit better, because you did come in and when you noticed that somebody was hurting or whatever, you took care of people. So yeah. I just want to thank you for it, because it was noticed and was appreciated.
Yeah, some good came out of it.
We talked about the after action. It was over 30 people with kids that had autism that we got to talk to.
Great.
And there was 3 teachers and 6 nurses that we talked to.
Wow, that's awesome.
So I'm chalking it up to a win. We also got a coin from a vendor. We got some coins from a vendor who works with Necronomicon that wants our Starfleet group to be volunteers at Necronomicon specifically. And I know you did Necronomicon last year.
Yes, that's the way cons used to be. They actually have a hospitality suite.
Right. Oh, yeah. So
Nice.
this was from the game vendor, Alpha Game Stack. And because of our groups, how much the two guys that were taking care of his room, and the fact that me, Drew, and you kept walking back and checking on him, Mike did too, and Austin. He gave these to Austin and said, "Y'all need to contact them." Well, Austin got like 5 coins to give, but this was one of them, and he said, "I need y'all to be volunteers at Necronomicon. You need to contact them."
I don't know what Mark helped them with. He said, "I want you and your starter, especially the tall Klingon guy." And I said, "Well, he's actually with the Klingon assault group." "Oh, you're not in the same group?" I said, "No, we are."
Well, remember, he saw us last year all in Klingon, because last year we did complete Klingon, and last year he was in the room with the photographer. That was the game. That was Alpha Games that was up front. As a matter of fact, when he was setting up Friday, I walked in, looked to the right, saw his shelf. I went, "Oh, Alpha Games." He had no signs up, nothing. His daughter just looked at me and went, "How do you know?" I said, "I recognized the shelf from last year. It was up near where we are this year. We just switched." So, like I said, we made an impression on vendors enough that the vendors are like, "We need you at other conventions." That is a win for me. So, like I said, thank you for what you did. And I noticed it greatly. Even if other we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
Even if that stuff happened. But the fact that a vendor from Necronomicon said, "I need you to be a volunteer at Necronomicon," that shows how much he appreciates what we were doing. So, and that's also positive for SFI and CAD too, because that shows that we're out there doing what is needed to make a positive light of the groups.
Absolutely.
So I know that you and Drew are both working on finding other cons for us to start attending, and I can't wait to be able to schedule times where I know that they're going on ahead of time, so I can actually attend. Because at this rate, I want to expand, but I don't want to expand if I have to feel worse than when I'm at my job.
Right.
So, like I said, thank you. Thank you for allowing us to be able to actually fulfill what I said to Humanities 101. They're very happy. I have been so exhausted since then that I haven't been able to do the write-up that I wanted to do. I want to do an article for them. I will be doing an article, and I'm going to highlight the people that actually did stuff, and the few pieces like the Bartow Mayor mentioned how they liked the fact that those micro accommodations were at the front booth.
Well, gentlemen, I'm going to have to go here. I appreciate being on. I thank you very much for allowing me to be a part of this great group. Always. I know I'm always welcome. And I'm looking forward to the next time. Okay? Later.
All right.
See you later, Jeff.
Be safe.
Be safe.
Take care.
Good night.
We got to look
Good
at
night.
September date.
Good night, Tiffany.
14th.
Oh, I was very delayed.
But yeah, unfortunately, we have been going for an hour and a half. and I didn't sleep much, so I subscribed to you.
Yeah.
Who is shocked that Sean has not slept?
Well, the reason why I didn't sleep was when I got here, I could barely walk. And we had an electrician come in when I was about to fall asleep and fix a light that's been broken for a year. Steampunk! Oh, wait. Klingon!
I hate to say this.
So, this is the new Klingon disruptor that was made.
That's things.
They're
A little bit different than the other, but the nice thing about this setup is we can use it for both the Klingons and if we do a steampunk costume, because it look perfect for steampunk. When Drew showed me it the first time, I was like, that looks so steampunk. And this size that they printed them in is the perfect size. These two together are not as heavy as that one.
Those two.
Yeah. Oh, the rifle.
Yeah.
So I want to thank everybody. Tiffany, thank you for being here. What an amazing night of nostalgia. We talked about gaming. We talked about sci-fi. We talked about cosplay and cons. And we talked about volunteering. John, it's nice to have you back. Richard, same. We miss you. Vampire?
Hey, John.
It's been a little while for you too.
I'm gonna do something that we normally don't. Go red! Oh, sorry. I know John understands. Go red. I believe it's the Labor Party over there. And Mark, again, thank you. And so now it's time to end the show.
There was 1 minute. We'll meet y'all back in the green room.
And everybody, live long and prosper, love one another, and remember, include others.